I can. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning session of the International Conference on Research in Education and Science. My name is Amjad Gawanmeh, and I'm going to present for you today the first paper on the mental challenges of emerging remote learning applied on UAE engineering students. So I came from University of Dubai, in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So to give you a brief background, it's a relatively small university with less than 1,000 students. We have 3 colleges: engineering, law, and business. So I belong to the College of Engineering. Most of the research I did before was technical simulation, as you know, computer science, computer engineering. However, as you know the story, when we went on the lockdown exactly 2 years ago, unfortunately, we all know the story. So we were forced to do online learning or remote education learning, or whatever you can call it. And then we started to face some problems, us as educators. Then I consulted with my colleagues, and we decided to do a study on the problems that we face as educators. So because when we went online, we were looking for resources, we were looking on things to elaborate the education experience for the students. So we first thought about ourselves. So we did one study on educators' perspective on distance learning in higher education during the COVID crisis. This was, we started immediately after the lockdown, a few weeks when we started doing online education. So we first thought about ourselves only, like how to improve our ability to deliver courses, to teach. And then we did design the survey. We distributed all over our colleagues. And then we got responses, we collected them, and then we analyzed the results, and we published this paper, which was published around 1 year ago in Contemporary Education Technology. And it was about evaluating the effectiveness of distance education in, during the crisis with our own perspective as educators. But as you know, when we started dealing more and more with students, doing assessment, asking them to open the mic and talk, asking them to do teamwork, we realized that the bigger problem was from the student side, not from our side, right? So then we thought about doing another study. But then when we started analyzing the situation, we thought that there are many studies that were addressing the technical issues and the education part from the student's perspective. But one of the things that is not usually common there in the environment is to address the mental issues or mental challenges that students faced during this transition in particular. So we thought about doing this, which is to analyze some of the stress that the student faced, the reasons of this stress, unusual situations. For example, in the morning asking a girl student to open the camera. Maybe she is not ready, she just got up and came connected. Yeah, exactly. Asking some student to answer, but then he is not there. Repeat his name 2 times, 3 times. So we were stressed, they were stressed also. So there was a lot of mental issues related to this. So we wanted to analyze this. So we designed a brief survey in order to do this. And as you know, in maybe we came from different countries, different cultures. My background is from Jordan. I did education in Canada, so I experienced different environments. Then I worked in Dubai, which is also a different environment. So some students there, you can call them spoiled. They don't have a lot of incentive to study because they belong to some family that has rich business. They just want to do degree. So some of them, not all of them, some of them are motivated despite this. But some, they have this mentality. I mean, they're in relaxed life, so they don't have much incentive to do the degree so that they can work. So when we, so this is one of the issues. So we wanted to design a survey to address these issues, and we don't want to give them 100 questions because maybe they will not answer it, especially if they know it's optional. Also, we didn't want to design a survey that has a lot of text, a lot of typing, a lot of comprehension-based questions. So we wanted something that's really tick-based. So we designed very a brief survey that has 10 items to address these issues related to mental challenges, to stress, to unusual situations that they faced, and we asked them these questions during the class. We don't have big population, so we offered this into, I think we got around 50 responses from students. So we asked them if they felt they were coping with the changes in the online learning when they first switched to online learning, if they were able to catch on the deadlines for projects, assignments, if it was easy for the student to do the transition from physical classes to online classes. Some of these questions, are correlated. If they benefit from online labs, because in engineering we have labs. Usually they go to the lab, they build a circuit, but now we switch to online, so they have to use online tools or simulators. If they think that online assessment caused more stress or trouble compared to regular assessment. So we ask them these 7 questions that are direct, either yes or no, or maybe, okay? If they are not sure, then they will just say maybe. And then we designed other 3 questions to ask them about particular hassles or issues that cause them problems. If they were annoyed by any of the activities done during online classes. For example, if we ask them to turn mic or camera on, if the internet connection was not stable or was not convenient, if we ask them to answer a question online, so just to say yes or no or maybe. And then we ask them if they feel confident about their ability to handle online classes, online assessment, online projects, then to say either yes or no, to tick one of these if they felt convenient. And then we ask them if there are any distractions during their online courses. So for example, if somebody talk to them, people around them, or if they just open the browser and start playing game or reading news. Because even us, when we listen to some online lectures, 45 minutes or so, we felt bored. Sometimes we check emails, sometimes, and we are like grown adults, mature. So these 18, 19 years old students, maybe they will do this more often. So we asked them these questions and we got 50 responses. Then we wanted to check these results. So these are the statistics that we got. I mean, maybe it's more clear in the tables when we look at the numbers. So we can we observe that there is a relatively high number, for example, more than 50% that they said yes for item number 2 and item number 5 and item number 7 and 6 also. So more than 50%. So probably it's better to look at those who said no, because they said no, maybe they were comfortable with the situation, but those who said yes or maybe are still not comfortable, even if they say maybe. So it's more like yes than a no in this situation. So the ratios were really high when we combined these two together. It's like 80% or 70% of the people we asked. It's a small sample, but it's still reflective of the type of hassles and the stress and issues they faced. Also, some of them were not, like a higher percentage were not comfortable about their ability to handle online assignments or online exams or online quizzes, even though it's online and sometimes it's difficult to monitor them or even to make sure that they are the one who are doing it. But despite this, many of them were facing these issues. So we did this and we did some results, and we found out that more than half of the students really did not feel that online learning had positive impact based on the results. And they also thought that the assessments were more difficult, which is obviously natural because we want to make sure that they are the one who are doing it. So we give different level of questions in order to better evaluate them. So the convenience, even though the convenience of online assessments were preferred for some of them also. And there are some distractions such as internet connections, turning camera on, lack of confidence and motivation, and some distractions of the surroundings. And then we consider these for a future enhancement that we want to do for this emergency remote learning or distance education. Then we thought, what is next? So back in November, we received the mandate from the Ministry of Education that students must come back on campus. And they must do all the assessments on campus, main assessments, midterm exam and final exams. So they must be done on campus. But by that time, during the first half of the semester, students, we were still doing remote learning. Then we asked them to come back with some protocol, as you know. So they started to come back on campus at the time of the midterm. And then they set us to do the midterm on campus. And then the results were really disastrous because they were now 1.5 years used to doing this at their home. Very convenient, very comfortable, probably doing well or not doing well, but at least the environment was more comfortable for them. Then when all of a sudden they came back and doing it on campus, especially for those batch of students who did not come to campus at all. So they were never been on campus. All of a sudden we asked them to come and sit and do midterm exams. So it was really very stressful and very convenient. So we thought about now doing the same study again. Now, the previous study we did, we presented in education conference in December in the USA. Then when this happened, so we thought about doing the same study again. But now when we switched from back from online to on campus, there are the same hassles, the same problems. So we want to ask now students how they feel about switching back into online and see like their reflections. Definitely there are going to be other types of problems. For example, some students are not used to doing writing exams on campus. They just did everything at home when they joined university. Now they came back and started doing it on campus. So we asked them exactly the same question with a little bit of tweaking to fit the new situation, which is doing this on campus now rather than doing it. Now we still did not give this to students, but we plan to give it right after the break, when we spring break now we have for 2 weeks. So when we come back, we plan to give this to the same community of students, not literally the same students, but students in the same classes, probably around the same number, and to analyze this and see. But we expect obviously to face more or less similar problems, maybe this ratio, but probably we will have the same problem. So this is the type of study that we have done and we are still doing. So to conclude this, there are many mental challenges for students that we wanted to address, and this has not been discussed in particular in our educational environment in the country where I work in UAE. Probably it has been discussed in other institutes, other different cultures. I have read some papers in Europe and probably in the United States institutes that address similar issues. We learned from them also, but in our region, this was not discussed. So we thought this would be interesting study to do. So we wanted to utilize this and consider it in order to enhance our future techniques for blended learning mode or for distance learning. Despite being back on campus, we still plan to do blended learning mode, as many other universities are doing, like to restructure our program so that we give some courses like half online, half on campus in the blended learning mode. But despite this, I think these issues are critical to look at when we want to do this. So this is like briefly the study that we did. And we have the two papers are published. One of them is available online, this one, the first one about educators' perspective. The second one, I think it's going to appear soon, but we can share it if you are interested. And this one, we are still working on the results, and we hope to submit it to the full copy to the conference proceedings soon, inshallah. Okay, so that's it. Please feel free. Sorry. Yeah. This is my email. It's not showing it, so hopefully it will come back. Yeah, this is my email, amjad.gawanmeh@ud.ac.ae. Please feel free to send me email, or I can give you my business card if you have any questions or any clarification. Yes, any question? Yes, please.
Question. We are from